Hello and welcome to our group presentation for Contemporary Teacher Leadership in Spring 2020. Today our group consists of Joseph, Hal, Liam and Nicholas. The strand we are following today is improving academic achievement, where our targeted focus of this task will be Year 7 students in the face of project-based learning. Our intervention strategy is to create and develop community connections. This resulting process will be situated around project-based learning through an emotional engagement strategy aligned with the school of our choosing. Our focused demographic in the school will be centered around the Year 7 cohort. The school in focus. Summarization of the school. The school in focus will be the Campbelltown Performing Arts High School. This school has enrolled around 1,100 students, where 9% of the students are Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, and 40% are students with English as an additional language spoken at home. The school itself maintains its learning policy as a way to enhance student learning with the purpose of creating critical and creative thinkers. The school integrates the curriculum, and in this model, students work collaboratively in villages and tribes for STEM and humanities, with students taking ownership through project-based learning. Combining this policy with the vision statement of the school, we see that they value collaboration and communication shaped by mutual respect. Through strong community partnerships, students are provided with opportunities for authentic, co-created learning experiences. The school plan is part of its Strategic Direction 3, which describes distributed leadership and continuous improvement, with the process of supporting parents and community members to engage with student learning in sustained and authentic ways, including community consultation, student-led conferences, exhibitions, and co-created learning experiences. Furthermore, the progress towards improving measures will be evaluated through data on community participation in events, survey from parents and community, student focus groups, analysis of teacher feedback and analysis, and work samples. The goals that we aim to achieve through the implementation of the proposed project: we aim to meet the expected outcomes of the targeted strategic plan, teachers' preparedness for PBL, increasing high expectations of students' works and student autonomy, students connecting to community, students engaging their peers and teacher-student relationships and rapport. And finally, improving student task participation and completion rates.
My focus will be community engagement and learning, which will also support the ways of learning pedagogy, frameworks, cultural competency, community links, which focuses on local viewpoints and connections to real-life purposes within the community. For students to feel they connect to learning, it is important that authentic learning is evident, and in PBL, this usually means a focus on real-world issues and student solutions. To ensure students get all the information they need to create these solutions, it is important that they get a real-life perspective on the problem. And what better way to do this than to invite local community members who know about the problem to give you direct information to allow students to engage in inquiry-based and collaborative learning. To support the staff in creating these community connections, I will go through a music project that implements this authentic learning by connecting with communities who want to help build future successful community members. An example of a PBL community project could include music class wanting to find out what success means to musicians in their community. The class could base their PBL driving question around this idea, and therefore to make the learning authentic. Student would then need to contact musicians within the community to find out about their opinion on music success and the measurements taken to prove it. With this information, students can then add to their final presentation as to how the community impacted their ability to learn and understand real-world connections between their learning and what is actually happening in the community around them. A process document can be created to assist students identifying community connections to support their learning. It can include students filling out a form justifying as to why this is a form of authentic learning needed for their PBL project, by identifying why a community member enhances their learning. Following a contacting community script with a what's in it for them pitch leading to a community connection.
These changes can also be implemented in the Geography KLA. One such change is choosing to focus on local areas and sites when conducting geographical fieldwork or case studies. An example of this may be teaching students about how they get their water and their water supply in the Stage 4 unit Water in the World. Similarly, students who are studying the Stage 5 unit Changing Places could look at how the city of Campbelltown has changed over time. Finally, in Stage 6, students can utilise a local area project when they complete their SGP or their Senior Geography project. These examples show elements of self-determination theory, as it will improve the relatedness for the students in the geography classroom, as they will more likely be able to connect their learning in the classroom to outside of it. It also may increase the expectation value for the student as they see the work more valuably because it is local to the student and they can physically see what they are studying.
Data collection, analysis, and evaluation of the research outcome. Data collecting methods of the research is designed to be inclusive and reflect upon all possible elements that are potentially related to the set goals. The main purpose is to collect all possible artifacts and materials to reflect learners' thinking and beliefs. There are 4 methods in general. The first one is traditional research methods. Traditional data collecting methods such as interviewing, both pre- and post-intervention surveys, and observations will work as the basic raw material collecting methods. The second one is data collected normally in schools. Students' data from learning support teacher and school administrative system will be used as supportive student document when measuring visible academic growth in different subjects. Data arising from teaching and learning activities. Materials such as worksheets and class recordings and activities, as mentioned in example KLAs, will be collected. Students to reflect upon their learning outcome in relation to their emotional engagement will be embedded in the activity by peer interviewing. It is to minimize teachers' impact on students' feedback and to collect instant and trustworthy data. Another one is data collection that can be incorporated into school routine, which can be practiced by completing peer action research observation schedules during staff meeting and communicating year advisors. Interviews will be a fundamental take during data collecting process to form a structure for data collection. It is purpose to open up a dialogue about an aspect for teaching and learning as an open inquiry to create a clear link among collected data by different methods. Strategies to collect more effective data when interviewing. Mediated interview. Use semi-structured interview schedule to let students answer the question by text to display their answers. Cross-interviewing. Let learners interview each other to eliminate a teacher's impact on the discourse. During the interview, students do not need to present immaculate writing and speaking conventions. To measure the improvement, both qualitative and quantitative data will be collected. Students work from class activities for formative assessment, periodic summative assessment works and scores, and students' emotional reflective surveys in Likert scale will be collected prior to, during, and after the research period as the quantitative data. Pre- and post-peer interview sheets and semi-structured interview schedules targeted students and related community members, and cross-evaluation feedback from other teachers that are designed to measure students' motivation in learning will be collected as quantitative data. Also, 3 ethical elements should be concerned during the research that are informed consent, students' voice and choice, and exercising sound judgment.
The timeline for this project is 1 school term. The first 3 weeks involve educating and introducing the concept and plan to teachers. The teaching staff is collaborated with and interviewed to ensure that everyone is aware of the expectations and goals for the intervention strategy. This part of the timeline is the most important, as it makes sure that the entire faculty is aware of the plan so it can be incorporated into the school in a uniformed manner. The next 4 weeks involve the completion of the unit of work which integrates the intervention strategy. This section also includes regular teacher feedback meetings where discussions can be made between facilitators and researchers about what is working well as what isn't. Adaptations can then be made as a result. The final section of the project involves conducting final interviews with teachers and then researching and analysing the data collected. This data is then delivered to key stakeholders within the school. This project serves as an example for later projects that may be conducted throughout the school to prepare the school for future learning challenges and potentially future pandemics. It creates a process called the teaching and learning cycle, which then can be replicated for future projects. These projects may be required due to new technology, new educational policies, or new world issues. The action research cycle is assessing, planning, programming, implementing, and evaluating, which is visible in the intervention seen previously. Continuously conducting projects allows for the school to ensure that it is running the most effective strategies within the classroom. The projects will ensure that there is evidence-based research that supports the effective strategies and leads to continuous improvement. These are my references.